All right. What up, y'all? I was in Seattle with another one. Lost in Seattle TV, should I say. But anyway, we're going to do a video on this right here. I wanted to get around to this. The main part of this video is about these Native Americans trying to open up a prison in Cali. Pretty sure a lot of y'all probably heard about it, but I want to start with this clip right here. I saw it recommended on my timeline. It's this channel called Power. What is it? Tower Flower?
Flower Tower.
Oh, Flower Tower. I'm sorry. I hope she don't mind us using her video. We only want to use this little clip. Hopefully she don't mind. But yeah, I want to show y'all this. So this is a Native American dude who I guess this is on some maybe TikTok, I guess.
Some social media outlet.
Yeah, where somebody asked him, so what is your beef with black community? White people slaughtered you guys, so you have a problem with black people. You sound goofy. We're going to see his response and her response to his response, and then we're going to have a response to that response. Let's go ahead.
This is really why I don't want to go down this road, because if I remember correctly, after the Civil War, it was Americans taking indigenous land, not white Americans. So basically, anybody who considered themselves an American and was expanding to the West, regardless of your color, was stealing indigenous land between 1780s and 1924.
This was never your land from the begin with.
We're going to get into who they really are, but that's actually not true for black people. But when they were passing out millions of acres of land in the West Coast, they was giving it to white people. Black people
just
were
like
not.
They do now.
Yeah, white people weren't able to get that land. I mean, why do you think so much wealth is built amongst white people? Most white people in this country come from, let's be honest, white trash. Yeah. Most white people in this country come from poverty pretty much their entire family existence up until the early 1900s, mid 1900s, where some of these families started to build wealth through home ownership and stuff like that. But yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with black people. We were not allowed to get none of the land. As a matter of fact, you guys have done more damage to black people than we've done to you. We'll get into that too.
Yeah.
This is why Native Americans do not want to play the Oppression Olympics, is because we will win hands down. Every single race actually helped out with genociding the indigenous people. You may be enforced by the white people to do it, but you helped.
What? Y'all, we need to talk about how a lot of non-black people of color channel all of their frustrations towards black people. In this case, I'm going to be specific, African Americans, because this man said, y'all was expanding west in the 1780s. Sir, we were enslaved by both white people and Native Americans alike. So you sitting here chatting about African Americans, baby, but you're an oppressor too.
He got on his ass. You know, she got a radio voice.
She does.
She has a really nice radio voice, or a voice like a voiceover, like a cartoon. But yeah, shout out to her. But yeah, she's right. These Native Americans definitely were slave owners, and we got historical proof of this. Obviously, when you look at stuff like this right here is something I found. This also was recommended on my timeline by Peaches is back. I saw this from her, but it's a good read. It's about the Samoan Indians, the black Samoan Indians, shall I say, and how, you know, they was able to get freedom. The slave revolt that no one talks about. You know, shout out to Haiti, but African Americans had our own slave revolt here. But anyway, you read this right here. It says, some of you may wonder why Creeks were helping Jackson, a man who made his name by killing Creek Indians. We definitely gonna get into those Creek Indians in Oklahoma and what they were awarded. The reasons were a combination of economics and political appeasement. The Creek were part of the 5 civilized tribes, and those tribes were slave owners. In fact, catching runaway slaves and returning them to their white slave owners for the reward was a big industry amongst quote unquote civilized tribes, especially the Chickasaws. Sometimes they didn't return them. Of the 5 tribes, only the Seminoles didn't have the slave codes. Only the Seminoles allowed their slaves to carry guns and own property. This caused resentment among slave owners in Cherokee and Creek tribes. Black Seminoles socialized with their enslaved counterparts and gave them ideas that were unwelcome, as if to prove
these civilized tribes were just like the white counterparts. On November 15th, 1842, the Cherokee slave revolt happened. 25 black slaves made a run for the Mexican border, where slaves were illegal, but they unfortunately failed when the Creeks joined the Cherokee posse. Afterwards, in an action so similar to the white slave owning counterparts, the Indians nation expelled all free blacks from their territories.
Yeah, so this is what they do. This is what they did throughout history. They if you pay attention to this, it says the 5 civilized tribes.
Which are the same ones that got the one in Oklahoma right now. They won half the state.
Well, the Seminoles got a little bit of it. They got the smallest piece.
Yeah.
But the reason why that means they obviously were more than 5. So they picked 5 out of how many?
Yeah, because we got some tribes in North Carolina they don't even get recognized.
Exactly. So it says right here, it said the Seminoles allowed their slaves to carry guns and own property. That means they weren't slaves.
Pretty much.
The Seminoles clearly saw a certain level of
similarity or
commonality with these people. They clearly weren't their slaves. But anyway, but I just wanted to there's history in the slave ownership, the ownership of Native Americans and blacks. But let's get into the real thing I want to speak about right here. As you know, y'all probably heard, I heard about this. When the first time you heard about this? I feel like this was a year ago, maybe a couple months ago.
I don't remember hearing about this.
I remember hearing about a prison.
I find it
getting built by Native Americans in Cali, but I can't remember when it was. I feel like I heard this a while ago though.
Why is this man named Torres Martinez? That's a Mexican name.
We're gonna get into this. Just chill out. We're gonna get into this. Torres Martinez tribe has plans. This is not a man. This is a tribe. Has plans to build 8,400 bed prison, one of the largest in the U.S. So this is a tribe in California Southern California who wants to build a prison. Now they gave a whole bunch of bullshit reasons why they want this prison. I'm gonna go through some of them real quick. A Native American tribe in Southern California wants to build a 8,400 bed prison on a remote reservation next to the Salton Sea and lease it to the state, a project that will be the first of its kind in the nation. Now Native Americans have their own jails on their reservation, but they don't own a prison. Under the proposal, the Torres Martinez Desert Indians and his business partners would finance the $2 billion construction project and maintain the state-of-the-art medium security prison. It will be the largest in California and one of the largest in the country. The state would then staff and run the facility and pay the tribe an annual rent of nearly $175 million. Clearly, that's what it's about.
They need the money.
They need the money. The project, which tribal leaders have discussed with former and current heads of the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, would bring at least 2,000 jobs and more financial security to the tribe, which has small casino and thermal. They also say the facility will be designed to reduce recidivism. Now, the reason why they want the prison is because where they are, they own a casino, like most of the Native American tribes, but they ain't making no money because of where it's located. So they need another way to make money. They pretty much in the desert. They're next to a lake, which is gonna make an excuse why they want to build a prison as well. But they can't generate no money off the casino.
How long the casino been there for?
I don't know. But they ain't making no money.
Are they just struggling right now because of COVID?
Nah, this ain't got nothing to do with COVID. They've been trying to push this for a few years, they said. Torres Martinez leaders, however, say that the main motivation of the prison project is environmental. Renderings show the facility will be built up against a mountain and bordered by open desert and agriculture. The tribe says it wants to restore a dying Salton Sea, 11,000 acres of which are included in the land. Water will be drawn from the aquifer underneath the reservation to supply the prison and its thousands of inmates. Hundreds of thousands of gallons wastewater would then be filtered and pumped into the sea, according to Chairman Thomas Torres.
Torres?
These names are kind of crazy. Facility could replace state's older prisons. The tribe and its partners are proposing to build the nearly 3 million square foot facility on approximately 760 acres of tribal land near the northwestern shore of the Salton Sea, about 150 miles east of Los Angeles, according to the draft lease obtained by the Desert Sun. The project will be exempt from California Environmental Quality Act requirements due to its location on sovereign land. So this whole article is really them proving their pitch to the California governors and them to build a prison, because they're saying, look, if you build a prison on our land, it's sovereign land. We don't have to deal with some of the regulations.
The government regulations.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with all those government regulations, so we can cut some corners someplace. So he's talking about how they want to help the environment while at the same time saying we don't have to meet up all the requirements necessary for it to be considered safe and good for the environment. So they're double talking. The tribe would charge the state a monthly base rent of more than $12 million according to the lease.
$12 million a month?
$175 million a year.
That means they know that the prison industrial complex makes bank. They're like, y'all can afford this $12 million a year.
The tribe and his partners stressed that the project, which they describe as a rehabilitation and education center, will replace some of the state's oldest and most dilapidated prisons rather than simply add capacity. So their thing is they're saying our prison is going to be so big, you can get rid of 2 of your prisons or so, maybe more, and just send those inmates to us.
I wonder what inmates coming there.
You see right here, he said, we're not building a new prison per se, says Chris Lindstorm, executive officer of California Tribal Business Alliance. We're closing old, dilapidated prisons with malfunctional capacity and replacing them with state-of-the-art modern facility that could give the rehabilitative programming to people and help give them the ability to come out stronger on the other side. Once again, this is all bullshit talk. This is bullshit talk. Now look, I know this right here. This is what made me realize what this right here was the dog whistle. The Cook County Department of Corrections in Chicago, for example, has daily inmate population of about 8,000 at one physical site. The Los Angeles County jail system, only 3 hours away, held a daily average of 17,070 inmates across several different facilities as of last year. So they're basically saying, you think Chicago is bad? It's even worse here. You need us. You need this new prison. Now, why do they immediately compare it to Chicago?
That's where the niggas at.
Now, why did he compare it to Chicago?
They always compare everything to Chicago.
While the tribe cites several reasons why the proposing of the prison is tribal land is major goal for support the health of the Salton Sea. The sea, technically California's largest lake, has been shrinking for several years. And obviously they continue with that bullshit.
They don't give a fuck about that sea.
Yeah, they don't really care.
Y'all want them Cino, them pesos. That's what you want.
Torres Martinez tribal land of 24,000 acres is checkerboarded around the northern half of the Salton Sea, about an hour's drive east of Palm Springs. The tribe's more rural location has made certain previous business ventures more difficult, Torres said, including the Red Earth Casino and Thermal. The tribe also operates a travel center near the Salton Sea. Once again, they ain't making no money off the other stuff. They understand building prisons is where the money at. Gaming is not something that would be fruitful for our tribe due to the location, he said. We did look at plans to build another casino, but it doesn't seem like something that's going to be fruitful for the Torres Martinez tribe. That sounds like a damn Spanish name.
Torres Martinez fucking tribe.
Now they keep trying to say that this would create jobs for them, blah 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 blah. You know, but this right here I want to show too. Garcia said he has now this right here is the whatchamacallit. He's not associated with the tribe. Garcia said he has spoken with Torres about the project a couple times, including as recently as a few weeks ago, and advised the chairman that this is not the right time to be attempting to build a new prison in California. Garcia cited the state's historic deficit, which stood at $54 billion as of May, resulting from the coronavirus pandemic. So California is in debt.
New York is in debt too.
$54 billion. How many of these states gonna go bankrupt? That's what happened to Detroit. People talk junk about Detroit. Well, it went bankrupt. That's what happened when you go bankrupt. He also said he and other legislators have been working to reduce recidivism. Governor Jerry Brown in 2017 signed a bill that Garcia authored, allowing some counties, including Riverside and Imperial, to implement pilot programs to provide re-entry services and support to people being released from county jail. We've taken great steps collectively to try and figure out a way to make sure that we are not sending people to prison for a long time if there's any other ways of addressing the problem closer to home. He also questioned whether the proposal would violate the spirit of AB 32, a state law implemented in January that phases out the state's use of private prisons and immigration detention centers. But the tribe and its partners have argued that the project would not be subject to AB 32. Unlike facilities that are both owned and operated by private companies, the prison would be managed by state officials and staffed by state employees, they said. So they want to build a prison, but say, oh, we don't want people to come be in and out of prison. But if you own a prison, you need prisoners.
Yeah, that's what make the prison run. You got to have prisoners.
So you do want people to come back to prison. So it's a conflict of interest, and the point they're making is we're trying to phase out private prisons. Oh, we're not a private prison. We're a state prison.
No,
y'all guys are just leasing it from us. No, it's a private prison.
You're letting the state do your dirty work.
Yeah.
So you don't. Well, we're not doing it. We're just renting out the building. No, motherfucker, you locking up niggas. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah. So when you hear these people talking about how they're the most oppressed, look, man, Native Americans that we see on television, they tell us it's them. They ain't who they say they is. I'm gonna show y'all something else. Let me show y'all this. All right, it's right here. I showed this before in my history video. If y'all want to go back and watch it. Now look at this. This is the secret speech of General Chi Hao-tian. This is the defense secretary of defense minister of China back in 2003 is when he retired. I talked about this already, and this right here is, he would be comparable to this guy here in America, Lloyd Austin. That's who Biden made the defense secretary here in America. So he would be comparable to that guy, right? In his country. Now, this is something he said about quote unquote Native Americans. This is something he had to say about them. Now, in this speech, he was talking about pretty much China taking over America, how China running out of land, so they need more space, and how they're gonna move the people to America for a reason. He also brought up how they're gonna do it, biological weapons. We'll get into that. He also compared the Chinese people to the Germans a lot, pretty much saying Asian people are like a super race or something. But anyway, he said that they're not from the same place as everybody else. They're not from Africa. But we're gonna get into this. Therefore, solving the issue of America is the key to solving all other issues. First, this makes it possible for us to have many people migrate there and even establish another China under the same leadership of the CCP. America was originally discovered by the ancestors of the yellow race, but Columbus gave credit to the white race. We, the descendants of the Chinese nation, are entitled to the possession of the land. It is said that the residents of the yellow race have a very low social status in the United States. We need to liberate them. Second, after solving the issue of America, the Western countries of Europe will bow to us, not to mention Taiwan, Japan, and other small countries. Therefore, solving the issue of America is the mission assigned to the CCP members by history. Now, in this speech, he compared the Native Americans here to Chinese people constantly. He understands that they're the same people.
Mongoloids.
They're Mongoloids. They're Asians. The same thing with those Mexicans you see. A lot of them are Asian people. That's why they all look the same.
Yeah.
So when you hear those Native Americans talking about how this land was stolen from them, and they came over the Bering Strait, those are Mongoloid people.
Yep. They came through Alaska.
Those are not the original natives that, well, some of them were here, but there were other natives here. I'm pretty sure you know how they look. But this is why you got stuff like the Asian hate thing, the Asian American and Pacific Islander campaign. They made sure to combine them. In this message, he brought up that their people, the Asians, came to America and the Pacific Islands. So they know who's who.
They know who's who. Everybody knows who's who.
Yeah. So yeah, don't get it twisted. But now then when you look at the Native Americans, they were given a lot of land. As a matter of fact, as of recently, they were given half
of Oklahoma.
And
white people were okay with it.
Yeah, they didn't complain about it that much at all. If you see this right here, you got the Cherokee Nation, Muskogee Nation, that's the Creek. The Seminole got a little piece, the Chickasaw Nation, and the Choctaw. Now remember, those are the 5 tribes that own slaves. Not the Seminoles own them too, but we know they was operating a little bit differently. But those were the 5 tribes that were owning slaves. And they were just given half of Oklahoma. And guess what's in Oklahoma? Tulsa.
Yeah.
That's where you had Black Wall Street.
Where it was bombed.
But yeah, this is the type of stuff that people just ignore. They can get these type of things. They can give certain groups reparations and pay them back for stuff that allegedly happened to them.
But won't do it for niggas.
Negroes ask for something and it's like,
Oh my God, the audacity of them.
You got these Native Americans talking spicy to black people and it's like, dude, we could sue you.
These old pothole having ass
like
face.
These 5 tribes right here, black Americans, especially in that area, could legitimately sue them.
What's his name? Don Cheetah.
The Don Cheetah family was owned by Indians.
Chickasaw.
Yeah, Don Cheetah, his family was owned by Native Americans.
Yeah, when he did his ancestry, it didn't trace back to white people. It was Native American.
So it's like he could sue them.
Yeah.
When they got awarded this land, he could legitimately sue them. But everybody allegedly he would just a quote unquote oppression Olympics. They would just easily win apparently.
Yeah, if we were having a drinking contest.
Oh Lord.
There was a drinking contest. Y'all win.
Yeah, but I just want to talk about this because
Drunks.
these are the what they call them. This is the allies, right? They want to build a prison.
Yeah, that's Gad.
They want to build a prison for the environment. For a good cause.
They want to lock Judah up.
Yeah,
Just threw Judah under the bus, didn't they?
But yeah, that's just the crazy story I want to talk about. Anyway, man, shout out to the Native Americans building their prison.
You don't have no friends. No friends.
They just trying to get their cake up, man.
Get their cake up off the behalf of us like everybody else do.
It's an easy money market. Hey man, any black people in America, no matter what you do in this country, you making somebody else some money. Even when you committing crimes, you turn into a bond, and somebody making money off of you in the prison system.
You priceless. You're a jewel. You're priceless.
But anyway, man, all praise to the Most High and peace.